Good morning, everyone. We're here at a park. Same one we were at last time. Just driving in. Water to the side. Mountains in the distance. Bumpy ride as we come in. Somebody's there early, hopefully not overnight. You're not supposed to overnight here. And another car. Yeah, lightning doesn't strike twice. When we came out last time, nobody was here, but this is a pretty popular spot. But we should get a couple hours. Let's go all the way over to the end. Geese on the water. And there. Since it's kind of a not a main road, nice little dirt road, go slow. I don't mind having the camera in my hand while I'm driving, especially if there's nobody else on the road. Here we go. Hat. Fixed from last time, but I did think of a funny title for this one as opposed to when we were here 2 weeks ago. And the reason I came back to this spot for two reasons. One, I wanted to do better. And two, I have a lot to do still at home for editing. I'm not going to say I overextended. I just did more than I usually do in the fact that we come out and we see wildlife and we do video on Saturday. And that requires a certain amount of time to edit. And I did that 2 weeks ago. And then on Monday, I typically just go out and do photos. Photos a lot quicker, a lot faster. There's not a lot of video to edit. We're not putting together anything. That's not what we did. You'll see it by now because it's, I'm still editing it. I'm still working on it, but it's already come out because I go in order so I don't get confused on what releases and when and everything. But anyway, yeah, we went to Rocky Mountain Arsenal, which was a nice wildlife drive through. I put in a podcast. The whole thing's on Patreon. I cut together a little bit, but I'm working on the full thing because of course, if I was going to do it, I was going to do it as good as I can, which means I set up 3 cameras that I have to cut between. One of them's basically useless. This thing pointing out there is just pure white with the sunlight coming in, so we're having to edit around that as much as we can. Anyway, it's taken a lot longer because it was like 3 hours of driving, I think. 2 or 3 hours that we were recording so that I have to edit. So it's a lot more. But I thought of a funny title for today because we're coming back to do the exact same thing. However, you've seen it already, but I've thought of it as I'm back and I'm 100% more strapped. Which is ridiculous. I looked up the definition to make sure I was understanding strapped correctly, and it's one of 3 things. It's either having a lack of financial means, which is true. Yep, strapped for cash. That's accurate. Being muscle bound, having lots of muscles, which is not really. Or as in armed with a weapon. We mean none of those things. I simply mean I'm fixing what I didn't do last time, where I came out and said, I'm going to walk around this park like I've done when I've taken photos, but I'm going to do it with the video. And then I got out there and I basically got to the first spot and walked there and went, oh, this kind of sucks. Because I didn't have a strap for the bag that carries all my extra stuff. I was trying to have one hand for all that and then carry the camera and tripod in one hand, which really doesn't work. So I wound up just kind of standing in one spot. However, we're back. We're 100% more strapped because I have a strap for the bag so I can put it over my shoulder and not worry about it. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go see what kind of birds we can see. Obviously, there's geese on the water. Pretty cool. All right. I was looking for this.
Is it running? But why? Okay, no, there's a hose. Okay. I guess they're doing something over there. That's big. Yeah, okay, there's a hose running up to the other side of the generator. I can see it. I guess they're pumping something? Okay.
Not a bad way to spend a couple hours. It was warm. It really warmed up out there. Whew. But I think we can sum it up real quick. Fun, good time, saw some fun stuff. I'm happy. More waterfowl, more geese and ducks on the water. Then I went a little further and I decided to check out inside the little wildlife blind they have set up. There's a little building that lets you see. And the first few things, for the first 2 years of me coming here, that's about how long I've been coming to this spot, you couldn't really see much. We had to take a break. This was one of the places that I came to and it was closed. It was closed because they've been doing construction for the water lines that run into the city or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but something along those lines. And there's still construction equipment out here. As a matter of fact, after I got done with all the wildlife viewing, I started walking away and I heard it and I went, is that generator that's just sitting out here running on a Saturday when no one's working, and I went over and investigated, and I think it's pumping something. There's a hose connected to it, so I think it is indeed pumping something. It went further down. I didn't go down there. I didn't want to get in the mud or, get in trouble for messing with construction equipment. I wasn't messing with anything, but I was all up, exploring and looking at it. But anyway, 2 exciting things. Got 2 shots that I'm pretty happy about. One, while we were in the wildlife blind, which is just a little building with some windows cut in it, looking out at the frozen lake mostly, I can see northern flickers, which are really cool. They're one of my favorites because I'd never seen one back where I grew up. It's a type of woodpecker. It's got bright red under it. Sometimes there's a golden variant that has yellow underneath. I've seen both of those. I saw them first when we moved to Wyoming. They're somewhat common. They're very pretty. And I watched one. I could see them, and I narrowed in where and one landed, and I zoomed in there and took a look, and it was just getting a drink of water, pecking around on the frozen ice trying to find a spot, and then it found a spot, and it would just dip its head and take a drink and take a drink and take a drink. Got a good minute or so of footage of that, so I'm happy about that. And then after I checked out the generator and was walking back, I actually saw a bird up in the tree right above me. We had a lot of starlings out here. Starlings and red-winged blackbirds. Now, there was a moment right when I got here at first, and I'm walking, in, and there's just huge flocks of them, huge numbers of them. And I think it's just because I happen to be reading Lord of the Rings, and I just watched the first movie. I'm reading the book, finish the book, and then I'll watch the movie the next weekend available. They've got remember the spies of Saruman? All the birds? It felt like that. And it's probably felt like that because I just read the book and I am reading, and I just watched the movie. But, they were coming at me before. There's a tree line right in front of you. But you just see this huge flock of birds. And I went, oh, wow, that's quite a lot of birds. But lots of starlings, which are gorgeous birds. Really, really cool. And it's such a shame that they're a very invasive species and have to be dealt with because they destroy so much of the other habitat and not habitat, but the area for the other birds. They're very aggressive and they chase out other birds, and I believe they're also ones who will take over nests and leave eggs. It's not great for other species. They are invasive, they are predatory and aggressive, and it's a shame because they're really cool and they look really neat, but they're all over. I've seen them everywhere I have gone to. But I've never got one on video before as close as we were because they just happened to be a bird, one right there up above us. And I grabbed the camera that I was, I'd already packed up kind of, but threw it back together real quick, turned it on, and got a good a minute or two of it doing a call, which I'd never heard before. Obviously, I've heard it because they're everywhere, but it's a bit different when you can actually sync it up to, this is exactly what this one is. It helps me learn a lot more if I can narrow that down specifically, unless they have a very unique call. I was hoping to see turtles. Why did I go into that bit? Hold on. That one was going to be saved for later. I was hoping to see kingfishers, because I've seen them here before many times, and they're here year-round, I'm pretty sure. I think. But I didn't see any today. But I went to the place where I've seen kingfishers before. And I saw them not that long ago, a couple months ago, but it was fall at that point and not quite full winter. They may go south. I don't remember if the kingfishers are ones that stay year-round or if they go south. I've definitely seen them in winter before, but not here. And I don't remember when the last time I saw one in winter was. Anyway, kingfishers are really cool. I'm still like, goal, hope, dreaming of getting a shot of a kingfisher diving into the water, catching a fish and coming back out would be really, really, really cool. But they are incredibly small for that, and they are very fast, so it's really difficult to do. I've seen it. That was one of the first things that I started with when I got video capabilities. I went out to a park back in Georgia, not a park, but a wildlife place back in Georgia with the wetlands, and that was the first kind of thing that I did. Was I went out and I was like, well, let me tell the story of the wetlands. Basically, is the first thing I ever tried to do was just capture a couple video doing landscape and doing the close-up and just the different types of birds, and then clip them together. Kingfisher was one of them. But the footage doesn't look very good at all because they are really, really far away, even stretched out as best I could with the camera that I had. It was not great. Anyway, better now. We definitely do better with everything that we're doing now. But anyway, the point of the starling call was really interesting to hear. So there was that. That water that I was at, specifically that pond, is where I've come to before, and I've seen big snapping turtles, really, really big ones. I was hoping to see if they were here. Again, I don't know where they moved to. That pond in particular is completely frozen over, so I have a feeling they're not there unless they just find a spot to come up for air and then hang out mostly in the water all winter. That doesn't seem likely. Well, maybe, actually. Are they warm-blooded? They just need to get in the sun, and then they eat grass and things, the underwater leaf. I don't know what turtles do during the winter. But they definitely don't leave this area. They survive. They're not big migration. They're not going to move south. I'm pretty sure they stay here. But they might move ponds for the winter to one that isn't going to be completely frozen over. Because not all of them are. Some of them are partially frozen, but like the one in front of me is partially frozen. But anyway, saw some cool stuff. Had a really good time. And that's good because this is what makes me happy. And I'm coming out here doing it. Even when other times, like when I wake up at 4:30 and go, I could sleep in. I haven't slept in years. That's not even a joke. I can't force my body to anymore. I will wake up, even on a day off, when I go, I have nothing to do. I have no reason to wake up early. I'm going to take it easy. 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm up. Oh well, just start getting stuff done anyway. But I used to sleep in. Couldn't get me out of bed before 9? Alright, I usually try to get to work by 10. So yeah, about 9 o'clock, just enough time to get up and try to get ready as quick as possible and get out there. Get to work. Doesn't matter, not relevant. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I got plenty to edit now, including the stuff from before, so next week starts the vacation, which is really nice. That's gonna be the cool thing about it. We got the rest of the year off after this coming week. Normal week, then we're free for 2 weeks. We get 2-week vacation. And I'm gonna cram in as much wildlife, video games, what else? Whatever else I come up with. Playing video games and recording them. That's different from just playing them on my own, playing with family or friends. There's going to be plenty of that. I've got a lot of things to... Actually, I think my list is like 8 videos long of things that I want to record while I'm on vacation. Of like yearly wrap-ups and changes I'm making and other things. A lot of sitting and talking to a camera for a bit, but different from sitting and talking to a camera like what I'm doing right now. Anyway, that's what I got going on. So I'm looking forward to getting a lot of that done. Feels good to be productive and get the things done that I want to do. So I'm going to get on out of here. Thanks for coming along, everybody.